Well, again, ladies and gentlemen, it's another edition of Making an Impact. I'm your host, as always, Chad. Before we get into today's recap, as always, got to tell you what's been going on the website this week. We debuted our first ever single panel comic. We will be expanding to two or three panels from now on, going forth. But it stars the duo of Mixed Martial Monkey and El Ninja O as they traverse the crazy ass landscape that is pro wrestling. It's called the Wrestling Misadventures of Mixed Martial Monkey and El Ninja O. It's currently up on the website right now. We will be updating those probably every few weeks or so. We'll post a new one. We're working on character designs for the rest of the characters, with a little bit of a write-up for each character so you guys know who they are. So if you want to check them out, go ahead and check it out. It was written by me. This is not my best offering. In fact, it was supposed to be a kind of just an outlet or a template for the first one, so be gentle. It was drawn by Zach, our co-host for the WrestleCorp review and semi-co-host of the ComicCorp podcast, so let us know what you think about that. So that's the thing. Also, on Monday, there was no SportsCorp, so we didn't talk about the draft, but we will be talking about the NBA draft and LeBron James' decision to opt out of his contract come next Monday, this upcoming Monday, I should say. Tuesday, we covered Eli Drake re-signing with Impact, so if you want to hear about that, go check it out. We also covered some other stuff, obviously. Wednesday, we reviewed NWA TNA Weekly Pay-Per-Views number 9 and 10. This would be Ron Killings and Jeff Jarrett and Brian Lawler basically getting into it. And then, of course, the White Trash Cafe Brawl. That was fun. And then, of course, in Week 10, we talked about the trilogy of matches with Jerry Lynn and AJ Styles. So go check that out if you want to hear our classic TNA review. Yesterday we talked about Gotham by Gaslight on ComicCorp, as well as Morbius the Living Vampire, other stuff. Like, that's up on the website as well. And last night, or this morning I should say, on GameCorp, we reviewed The Last of Us in preparation for the release of the sequel. We also talked about this growing controversy between freedom of speech and expression in video games as a very hot topic. Video game was pulled from North American markets due to its sexualization of characters that are deemed underage. So if you want to hear us talk about that and rant about some of these fans who really just cannot seem to differentiate that, go check out that. That's on Twitch right now. It'll be up on Twitch for a few weeks, but it'll be available for download tonight on Podbeam or iTunes. So if you want to listen to it on there, go ahead. I still have to add, I forgot to put the Brack Ender music clip in that, so that'll be done in post. So with that being said, let's get into making an impact and talk some Impact wrestling action. We open up with Madison Rayne cutting a promo, and I'm going to just start off by saying this right now. In the annals of Impact knockout history, she's not in the top 10. In the annals of Impact Wrestling knockout talent, she's not in the top 20. I don't know why they want to bring her in. I don't. If she beats Su Yung, I'm going to be very angry. I mean, that's not much of a threat, but still. She should only exist in the current market right now to put Su Yung over. Tessa Blanchard is so much better than half this roster that she makes Madison Rayne look terrible by being in the ring with her. Tessa Blanchard has a better physique. She's more talented. She's more charismatic. She screams top talent potential, while Madison Rayne was always the third most interesting character of the Beautiful People and the second best wrestler of the Beautiful People. So I don't get it. I don't see the hype. I wish she wasn't in this spot. I'd rather see Allie or Rosemary in the spot, but I don't book this shit. Josh Matthews obviously is getting pulled for his wife. I don't know why. I think it's time to move on from Madison Rayne. I hope to God she doesn't stay with the company past Slammiversary, because she has proven that she is not on the par with these current knockouts. So, yeah, she talked some shit, then Tessa came out and completely upshowed her. Like, Tessa is so much more magnatic, and has such a more genuine presence about her. She feels like a motherfucking star, and Madison Rayne looks like a house mom. That's literally what I'm comparing. Like, you're looking at Serena Williams versus, Giant Eagle Express mom buying, baby formula. Like, that's the comparison of these two women. Like, One is a genuine athlete. The other one's kind of just there. If Madison Rayne wants to be in the knockouts division as a producer or like in some of that, that's fine. But we have Gail Kim for that. So like again, why downgrade? Just get her out of the company. I don't care. She's literally taking 25, 30 minutes away from women who deserve more of the spotlight than she does. So like I'm done. I'm just so done with Madison Rayne. Block me. I don't care about what Sky already did for some reason. Next up, we get the opening match of Rich Swann versus Trevor Lee. This was a really good match. I like this match. Trevor Lee looked fantastic, competing with somebody who had some pretty stout name value. Swann comes in as a pretty big member of the X Division already, so anyone who works with him is going to kind of have a very interesting and unique opportunity to raise their own profile, and I think that's going to help a lot of guys. Like even though Trevor Lee lost this match, I think Trevor Lee stood out in this match, and that's in part due to how good Swann is and how good the two of them were able to play off one another. So at the end of the day, even though Trevor Lee didn't win, he did win by proxy. So a real good outing by both guys. Hell of an opener. Definitely watch this match. This was très magnifique. We then move on to a PCW Ultra event where Sami Callihan unmasks Pentagon Jr. Thanks to OVE. Crowd is super into it. Callihan rips it off, and as he rips it off, Pentagon's able to shield his face on the way down and covers his face up. Really strong segment. Is building up a great secondary feud for Callihan and Pentagon, because Eddie and Callihan are still feuding to a degree, but they're currently kind of, I guess, crossing roads, if you will, at an intersection, as Edwards, ventures off to deal with Dreamer and probably Moose, and Callihan has to deal with the Lucha squad. So these guys are going to eventually come back around, I think, but this is a nice detour for now, so I'm very happy about this. We then get the Global Wrestling Network flashback moment of the week. It's the 2005 King of the Mountain match at the first actual Slammiversary, but the third anniversary show. Abyss, Sean Waltman, Raven, Monty Brown, and Styles. This was a fun match. I remember watching this match way back in the day. The one thing that pissed me off about this match was it was supposed to be, if I remember correctly, Abyss, Raven, Brown, Styles, and Jeff Jarrett, but Jeff Jarrett ends up beating up a fan, quote-unquote, and they replaced him with Sean Waltman, I think. Or maybe they replaced Raven, or Jeff Jarrett with Raven, one of the two. The two would never actually have their title match, Jarrett and Raven. They would be in a tag team match together, but eventually they would go on to a house show in Windsor, Ontario, where Jarrett would beat Raven for the title thanks to AMW turning heel. This was done because TNA at the time didn't have a TV deal, and Spike TV wanted TNA to bring in a big name value guys, and Jarrett and Kevin Nash were viewed as big name value guys at the time. So the move was made to put the belt back on Jarrett. But, I would like to have seen Bound for Glory 2005 be Raven versus Jeff Jarrett finally, because that would have been awesome, but Impact shot themselves in the foot, but whatever. Man, that was 13 years ago. I'll get over it eventually. No, I won't. Next up, we get a promo of the debate. That's all, folks. The debut of the Desi Hit Squad. There we go. I can speak. They came out. Not really came out because that's later on, but they're a thing. We'll talk about them. We then go backstage to Katrina. She sneaks up to Grado, and she's like, "Guess who?" And he's like, "The Wildcat Chris Harris." And I'm like, "Yes, yes, love it." So she talks about how she has a match next week, and he couldn't believe that she has a match, and she was like, "Yeah, two-time Knockouts champion." He's like, "What?" And then she goes, "Yeah, it was a different season back then because she used to be known as Winner." Moving on. We then get Gama Singh in the ring to introduce the Desi Hit Squad. It's Rohit Raju and Gursinder Singh. Gursinder Singh looks like a motherfucking star in the making, man. He's still green as fuck, but he has a really strong look. He's got the good size. He does move well in the ring, even though I would say he still has a lot more to do in the ring. But I am very excited about this. The two did pair very well. There's two other members of the Desi Hit Squad. I forget their names. Vikas Kumar, I think, is one of them. I think it's another Singh, I think. So there's 5 men in total, counting Gama Singh. Strong debut. They took on Z&E. I don't know if I like the idea of Z&E losing back-to-back high-profile matches, but the fact that they made the Desi Hit Squad look strong as hell, I thought was good. They definitely have some, not quirks to work out, but like some hiccups to work out that does the hit squats. So like I'm not gonna be sitting here going, oh well, there was the bird. No, like there's definitely potential here. They just need time and cohesion. Finish came when Singh hit an enziguri with a knee by Raju, back to a sky high by Singh. That was a great fucking exchange. Z&E goes for their finish, but Gama Singh's able to distract the referee. Singh hits a roll up on I think DJZ or was it Everett? I think it was Everett, and gets the win. Strong showing. Really like this match. We then get Pentagon doing a promo. He's challenging Sami Callihan for a match, for a mask versus hair match, and I'm digging it. I love it. I want some more of it because that's some strong stuff. I don't think people realize how cool mask versus hair matches are. Personally, I love them. I think they're fantastic. They're called Lucha de Apuestas matches down in Mexico, and apparently. When Pentagon was known as Zayas, he defeated Malalisa for a championship versus mask match. So this is not his first outing in one of these Lucha de Apuestas matches. So I'm looking forward to it. I want to see more of it. And this isn't, truth be told, this isn't Sami Callihan's first mask versus hair match. This is his second Lucha de Apuestas match. And his first one was back last August, defending his championship on the line against Rey Fenix in a championship versus mask match. So, yeah. And then actually he also lost, he beat Pentagon one the year before, same city, Berwyn, Illinois, in a hair versus championship match where he defeated Pentagon for the belt. So, so Callihan actually has as many Lucha de Apuestas matches as Pentagon, because they both have two. And they're going into their thirds. So I think that's pretty cool. We then move on to Moose talking about his upbringing. I really like this segment. This was basically what Lashley and WWE tried to do with the whole sister promo. It didn't work well. This, I thought, was really authentic. Moose talked about how his mom was never a big sports person, but because he and his brothers were, and she was a big, sons person, like she liked her sons, so obviously, at least hopefully. So she went to all their games and stuff, and he felt very supported by that. He then goes on to talk about his journey as a pro wrestler, shows all the guys who supported him throughout the years, like your Okadas, your Styles, and a few others. He eventually talks about taking the world title off Slammiversary, and I really liked this. I did. I really did. He took a dig at his ex, who accused him of some shit way back in the day, but then he also talked about how his mother has always supported him and sided with him. So I think this is a really kind of strong dynamic for Muse and X. I really thought that this was a strong showing by Moose. Great promo work, really put him over. And this episode did a lot to elevate Moose as a contender, because he'd have an encounter with Eddie Edwards in the next segment that was shot in Philly a few weeks ago, or a few days ago. I don't know exactly when it was filmed. That again makes him look real strong. They showed Tommy Dreamer getting attacked by Eddie Edwards. It was a really kind of a brutal segment. He went after Tommy when Tommy was in the midst of a match. Post-match sees him leaving the arena, the 2300 arena in Philadelphia, and Moose comes out after him, talking about, "Hey Eddie, we're all on the same side. We're all friends. What the hell, man?" And he accuses him again of trying to snake his way into his relationship and blaming him for all these things. So I dug it. I think what they're doing with Eddie, Moose, Dreamer, Pentagon, Sami Callihan, I like all that stuff. So I'm super fucking into this. I'm like really into this. If you give me a second, I can actually figure out who Dreamer was facing. If we can actually load everything properly. Let's see. Lucha Underground. No, that's not it. It's House of Hardcore. That's what we're looking for. He faced off with... Let's see. 5. So he either faced off with JT Dunn and Alex Reynolds, or... Yeah, that had to be it, you'd think. Although those were shot on different days. I don't know. Maybe it wasn't a House of Hardcore match. Oh well. Moving on. We then get an LAX segment in the back. It's Ortiz and Santana talking about King. We had a Chris Harris reference. They were talking about who could have done in Conan, and one of them mentions Black G's, and I was like, oh, God. Oh, God. Another reference. Black G's actually showed up on Destination X 2012, for those of you in the know. He was in the mini X Division tournament match, so if you want to check that out and see him. I forget what his name was in that. I think it was like Cameron. Something like that. He goes by Sabian nowadays, and back then he wrestled as Rashad Cameron. So that was nice, a little reference. We had two references to past Impact guys. Conan blames Kingston, says he's got proof. Ortiz and Santana tell him to go basically fuck himself because he's acting a fool. Blah, blah, bblah. Next up, we get Desmond Xavier versus Matt Sydal. I love what they're doing with Matt Sydal with the I forget what the it's some kind of yoga pose where he crosses his legs and sits down. I forget what it's called, but he keeps doing that to Sydal, and he keeps talking, or not to Sydal, to Xavier, and he keeps talking about how he's like giving him compliments and shit, which I thought was great. And the announcer said, like, open up your third eye. Here comes Matt Sydal, or here's Matt Sydal, so open up your third eye. They're really making him this really twisted guru gimmick, which I'm digging. So the moment that I'm referring to, Sydal leans down to Xavier and says, I can help you open your third eye. Let me help you. I believe in you. And with that, Xavier punches him in the face. So there's that. Excuse me. Had to quell some hiccups. This was a great back and forth match. Personally, with the girth of Lucha talent that Impact is using, I would like to see them build to a 4-on-4 with OVE versus Pentagon, Phoenix, King Cuerno, or El Hijo del Fantasma, depending on who you're nasty with. And then maybe like a Drago or an Aerostar or like a La Parca or LA Park. So, just another guy. And then with OVE, you have the Irish Airborne, or OVE, Jake and Dave Christ, Sami Callihan, and their fourth member, their brother from another mother, Desmond Xavier, who is also a member of that OVE group. In terms of reality, not in wrestling. So I would like to see Xavier go heel and join up with them and kind of give them a nice presence in the X Division as a grouping. But we'll see if that ever happens. Sydal's able to get the win with a pump handle package driver. So that was cool. Post-match sees Brian Cage come to the ring. He's all like, I'm going to beat you up. And Kong's like, no, I'm going to beat you up. And Brian Cage's like, oh, no, the betrayal. Congo signs over him, and they keep hinting at more between these guys, so that's cool. We get a creepy cam with Sami Callihan. He's all like, hey, accept your challenge, but my hair's been everywhere. It's basically the Carmen Sandiego of hair. It's been all around the world. It's pretty awesome. But then he talks about how he's going to make Pentagon walk around Mexico without his mask in shame, and then does that fucking Game of Thrones shame chant, whatever. Then we get Alicia Tout making her debut. My only point of contention or criticism would be to hold your microphone closer, because she was very soft. But I did like it because she did have a presence about her, and she did really formulate a great question for Aries to play off of, which is very imperative. Aries puts himself over as being the champ. He's not impressed with Moose's journey. He's at the top of the food chain, but in the Animal Kingdom, that means he's the hunter. But in Impact, it means he's the hunted. And that he knows that he's going to have to challenge the big man that is Moose. And that next week we'll hear more of Aries' story about his rise and all that. So it is a solid promo. Then main event was Tessa Blanchard versus Madison Rayne. Madison Rayne flailed around for about 8 minutes, trying her best to keep up with Tessa. She could not. Madison Rayne gets the cheap victory. Post-match, though, was cool. We got to see a new group of Undead Brides, because the core group was a bunch of women from Orlando. Now we're in Windsor, Ontario. So Su Yung comes down. It looks like they're going to basically drag her to hell, but then Allie makes her turn, clearing the ring, and I was like, so I was really excited about that. So this is some great stuff, and truthfully, I'm digging this. I really am. I really have no real issues with what's going on, and outside of the Madison Rayne stuff, get rid of her. put her back on commentary or what have you, and let the other woman shine. And yeah, I think this is a pretty solid product. So with that being said, I'm going to bid you all adieu. Be sure to follow us on Twitter at NERDCORP. I'm going to be broadcasting tonight with Swish. Maybe tonight, we'll see, because the Ring of Honor show is on tonight as well. So we're going to see what's happening, because I want to see that main event. So maybe we'll broadcast tonight. Maybe it'll be broadcasted tomorrow. But we'll broadcast eventually this week for the Ohio Guys podcast. We'll talk more about the accusations surrounding Chris Hardwick, I'm sure. I'm obviously split on that, but we'll talk more about that later because of reasons. We'll also talk about other things, I'm sure. I don't know what Swish has on tap. It's his show. I just show up. But with that being said, thanks for listening, guys. We'll be back later tonight, probably around 11. Otherwise, we'll see you tomorrow night at 1 a.m. or so, 12:30 or 1 a.m. as we review Fortnite. We're going to play the actual single-player version of the game, and then we're going to play some online and just see how it goes, because we want to show we want a real good in-depth deep dive into this game. So yeah, that's all I got. So with all that being said, you all have a good night. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Be sure to tell me what you think in the. Oh, I gotta do the top fives. My bad. Top threes. Top three goods for this week, I would definitely give to the Swan debut. I'm going to go with the Pentagon Sami promos. Those were pretty fucking strong. And the Desmond Seidel match. Top three bads, I'd go with the Madison promo, the Madison match. And I'd say the Aries promo, because I feel like I've never been a big Aries guy. So I feel like when he's on the mic, I kind of just tune out. That's just personal opinion. I don't see him as the star everyone else does. Again, that's just an opinion. So now that I did that, now we're done. Be sure to follow us on the website as well at realnerdcorp.com, REALNERDCORP.com. Links to all the previous mentioned podcasts are going to be down below. If you want to go and follow us on our Podbeam account, it's realnerdcorp.podbeam.com, as well as on iTunes by searching Nerdcorp, youtube.com/Nerdcorp, twitch.tv/RealNerdcorp, Mixlr.com/Nerdcorp. And I think that's all we got. So with that, I'm going to bid y'all adieu and shove off for the night. So I've been Chad. Thanks for listening. And as always, watch more wrestling.